First at 5, federal immigration officials say they were able to arrest 24 people in Charlotte, but many of them are now at large. And those officials are pointing the finger at the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office for, they say, not keeping people in jail. Thanks for joining us for Queen City News at 5. I'm Alicia Barnes. Now, the sheriff, though, is now pushing back significantly on that, saying ICE simply isn't picking those up on immigration detainers. Let's check in now as Queen City News anchor Derek Dellinger has been looking into this all day. You're live outside of the jail. Derek, so this back and forth that's been going on now for a while, talk to us about it, because the pushback now is getting actually more significant.
Yes, and it's actually getting more direct on both sides on what is or is not being done. There's work to change on some of this letter of the law that the sheriff is saying that he's following. There's work to change that coming up in Raleigh, but whatever is happening right now is creating a lot of stress for those who could be directly affected by it.
Earlier this month and over the course of a week, Immigration and Customs Enforcement says they, along with the help of other law enforcement agencies, were able to arrest 24 people that they say were in the country illegally and were those who, among other things, were facing charges ranging from violent offenses to DWIs. But the feds say many of those people are now at large because they were released from the Mecklenburg County Jail. If this story sounds familiar, it is. ICE has noted issues with people who were on detainer being released, while Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden says those detainers were only for a short period of time, and he says ICE never picked them up in that period.
ICE's request to hold individuals on administrative orders that are not signed by judges, that are signed by ICE agents, can have significant legal repercussions for our county.
Stephanie Ardiakis with the Carolina Migrant Network, who provides legal representation for those detained by ICE. She says the way the law is written now, lawsuits are actually possible if a sheriff's office doesn't release someone when they are legally able to, undocumented immigrants included. In back-and-forth statements on the arrests, ICE called out the sheriff's office about it, saying their detainers were not honored. Quoting ICE, these aliens could have been safely and efficiently transferred into ICE custody if their detainers had been honored. The sheriff says anything longer than a 48-hour hold has to be signed off by a judge, which he says did not happen in these cases, adding if ICE perceives these undocumented immigrants as violent or dangerous, they should place them on criminal charges rather than detainers. The sheriff says he is working within the letter of the law, though there are indications that the law may change. It already did back in December, but State House Speaker Destin Hall says there could be another change on the way.
For whatever reason, the sheriff here is just simply not picking up the phone to let them know, let ICE know when someone's being released and has an ICE detainer on them. So I expect that you'll see some change,
which Ardiaga says is creating more confusion for those undocumented and even those here legally.
The administration moved so far as evading court orders or taking action against green card holders. There is a lot of concern around the civil rights violations that are happening for people who are both documented and undocumented.
Now, that legislation to force more cooperation with ICE, that is still making its way through the General Assembly. For now, we're live in Uptown. Derek Dellinger, Queen City News.